Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at the XTOOL A30M Scan OBDII scan tool. And with this one, this is what they call an OBDII dongle. So it plugs into your OBDII port and you have to supply either a cell phone or a tablet of either Apple or Android. So we're going to take a look at it today and see what we think. I'll get it open here and we'll take a look at it. My scan tool did not come with an owner's manual. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it's pretty intuitive to use this thing. You don't even really need the manual. You just go on your Play Store or your Apple iTunes, whatever it's called. You download the AnyScan software by XTOOL onto your mobile device, and then it just works. But otherwise, I just noticed here there is a QR code on the box for the user's manual. I don't know if it normally comes with one or not. If you're looking for a manual, you can find it right there. But then it comes with, I'm not going to show you the front of this, but on the front of this little piece of paper is the serial number and the activation code for this device. Plus the device has the serial number on the back of it anyway. But you will need on the front of this the activation code that you type into the software on your mobile device. So this is it. It's the AnyScan A30M. It's got a display screen on the front that'll tell you battery voltage when it's plugged in. I'll get it plugged in down there and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is there's a button here, if I can get it in focus. There's a button on both sides, right there and right there. You press either one of those buttons and there's a light, or two lights, inside the plug. So when you're trying to bend over underneath these dark dashboards to get your OBDII dongle plugged in, you can hit either button and the light will come on. And I thought that was a nice touch. Simple, but man, it come in handy. And considering these OBDII dongles get their power for transmitting and whatnot from the OBDII port on your vehicle, in order to make this light work, they had to engineer this thing with a battery inside just for the light. So they went out of their way to put that nice little touch in there. And of course now once it's plugged in, you can see the red light means that it's got power from the OBDII port. The blue light means it's connected to the tablet via Bluetooth. And on the right side of the red light, when there's data being transferred either to or from the vehicle, that extra light right there will light up green. Okay, so once you get the AnyScan software downloaded from the Play Store or Apple iTunes or wherever Apple has their apps nowadays, and you get it installed onto your device, you'll have to create a username and password, type in the serial number and the activation code that's on that sheet of paper I showed you that comes in the box. That activates the software on your mobile device. And then once you're in here, this home screen looks exactly like the home screen on the D7 or the D8, and everything functions exactly the same as the dedicated scan tool. Now, what's nice about this is it's that reason that it looks and works just like their normal scan tool. I reviewed an Automotive OBDII dongle a few years ago, and that thing didn't look anything like an Automotive scan tool. And every single make and model had to download a bunch of different software, and that one there was only free for like the first 6 months, and you had to pay for subscriptions. You either had to pay for subscriptions by the make and model, or you could pay for the subscription by the actual function. Like if you wanted to do ABS brake bleed, that'd cost you $30 a year. Well, with the XTOOL A30M that we're looking at today, once you buy the scan tool, there's never another charge. It has free lifetime updates. It will work. It will have full functionality for the life of the device. And the device itself comes with a 2-year manufacturer warranty. So it's pretty good. Once you buy and own the device, it never costs you another penny to ever use it again, and it retains its full functionality. Once you get it installed, and we're at this point, and I've already done it, and I'm away from Wi-Fi right now, but you'd need to go to updates. You'd log on to your home Wi-Fi network or your Wi-Fi network at your office, and it would go on and search for updates. And I had quite a few. Overall, it took about, 20 minutes, and it was a done deal. We'll go back to the home screen here, and we'll take a look at some of the functionality. All right, first we'll take a look at the special functions. Now these special functions, it lists all of the special functions that this scan tool is capable of performing. That does not mean it's capable of performing all of these functions on every vehicle. For example, electric parking brake. The vehicle we're sitting in doesn't have electric parking brakes. TPMS reset. The truck we're sitting in doesn't have a TPMS system on it. So some people get confused that, well, I bought a scan tool and some of the features don't work. Well, not only does the scan tool have to be capable of it, but the vehicle you're plugged into also has to be capable of it, or it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at a scan tool and they list all these special features, special functions. You know, depending on what you're going to plug it into, doesn't mean it's always going to work. So, but it's got, you can see there's electronic parking brake, steering angle sensor, gearbox match, power balance, ABS brake bleeding, which is nice. BMS reset, Windows initialization, injector coding, oil reset, seat match, throttle learn, transport mode, instrument cluster, electronic pump activation, TPMS reset, headlights, adjust, suspension, tire size upgrade, DPF. Again, this truck's a gas, not a diesel, so what's that going to do? Diesel particulate filter. There isn't one on a gas vehicle. Gear learning and airbag reset. I'll go back. Of course, you can do an auto scan, and it's going to connect to the vehicle. We'll go GMC Sierra. Automatic transfer case, yes. 4-button selectable. Dual zone manual. Up-level radio. Under 8600 with rear drum brakes. Okay. And we'll go to, now auto diagnose would just be a scan of all modules. And I don't think this vehicle has any trouble codes, but we're going to find out. I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to sit through it. Okay, it's finally done scanning. We can click DTC report, and it'll give us a list of all the codes. Of course, now this truck just has some radio codes, which are, I don't know, has to do with bad speakers or something, and it's not a big deal to me. So from here we can go to diagnose. So for example, let's go to live data. We'll go to engine live data. And this one has several different, and this is exactly what it looks like on the other XTOOL scan tool, so I'm very familiar with the layout here. We'll go to engine live data 1. It's got a couple different screens worth of live data for this vehicle instead of one long screen. And it can show you all the different, see degrees Fahrenheit, grams per second. Show you all the different, any data PID in this vehicle or in any vehicle that is monitored by the computer, you will be able to see it in live data, whether it's engine live data, transmission live data. Let's go back to transmission live data. I haven't spent much time in there. Transmission. A lot of people ask in the comment section below some of my other scan tool videos, will this scan tool read or show transmission temperature? And the answer is, does the vehicle have a transmission temperature sensor to begin with? You know, if it doesn't have a transmission temperature sensor even on the vehicle, then there's no way the scan tool is going to be able to show that data. Now, if that is a data PID that the computer monitors transmission temperature, then it will show it in live data. And I don't know if this, let's see if this one shows it. Trans fluid temp, 188 degrees. So in this case, in this 2006 GM half-ton pickup, if you ask the question, I'd say yes, it shows transmission fluid temperature. The scan tool has the ability, does your vehicle? So that's where you ask the question. It's hard for me to answer because I don't know how every vehicle on the road is configured. So, but then we'll go to actuation tests, and here's your bidirectional control, engine and transmission. You can turn on a fuel pump, AC relay, you sweep your fuel gauge. Actually, the fuel gauge, the truck's running right now, so I'm not going to do it, but on the fuel gauge, you can actually hit the increase button, and you can watch your fuel gauge go all the way from zero, or from empty to full, and full to empty, just by hitting the button up or down. You got your evap purge and seal, you got your vent solenoid, your purge solenoid, fan relays. I guess I could shut the vehicle off, and then I'll hit. So for this example, instead of turning on one fan or two fans, I'm going to turn on all three at once, and then hopefully you should be able to hear them in the background. Turn them on. There they are, if you can hear them in the background. Turn them off. Turn them off. But all of this stuff you can control. We go back out of here. Yeah, we want to back out of here. And then we'll just go into system diagnose. And then these are all the different modules within the vehicle, like I've shown in past videos. So, for example, here's the ABS module. We got activation tests and live data specifically for that module. And in here is going to be where if you're going to do an ABS, like an auto bleed. Now, right here on this particular scan tool, they don't list the auto bleed procedure in this menu. If we backed back out of it and went to the special feature menu like we were in originally and went into the ABS bleed feature there they show the auto bleed feature. But if you weren't doing an auto bleed, say you had something stuck in an isolation valve, or you think you had some air stuck in the isolation loop or something, you could open up the valves and push a little fluid through individually with these buttons. You can open up each individual dump valve or isolation valve individually from this menu here. Oh, and then as far as, here's another good one. So if you're looking for, let's say you've got a StabiliTrak problem, or you've got some sort of an ABS light on, quite often it's going to be because of a faulty wheel speed sensor. And usually the wheel speed sensor data is found in the ABS module. So if we click on live data for the ABS module, here is going to be all your wheel speed sensor data. And of course, I think default, as low as it goes on this truck, is 3 miles an hour. But what you would do is you'd take it for a test drive, you'd monitor all your wheel speeds, and whichever one is different than the other, that's going to be the one that's probably a bad wheel speed sensor, or usually that's built into a wheel bearing nowadays with the unit bearings. So that's where you would find that. That's pretty handy. We'll go back out of here. So each one of these, let's say for example, here's the driver's door module. You got actuation tests there. Like put windows up and down, adjust the electric adjustable pedal, which this truck does not have. Like this one right here, this passenger window lockout indicator. That's the little orange light on the button that you push to make sure that passengers don't roll up and down their windows. This just turns that little light on and off. So if you had, a problem with the vehicle and that light didn't work and you were trying to diagnose it, this would allow you to see if at least the computer could control it to begin with. And if not, then maybe it's a wiring issue, or, so on and so forth. You take your diagnosis from there. But you can go mirrors up and down, lock and unlock doors. All of these are for helping to diagnose problems quicker. These are all the different modules in the vehicle, except so right here, tire pressure monitor. This truck doesn't have a TPMS system in it. Instrument cluster. I'll show you live data. lamp test. You push that button or go into that menu, and every single light on the dashboard, it looks like a Christmas tree. And that'll let you know if you've got any burnt out lights on your dash. This will do automatic selection. So let's say you just went into diagnosis without going into an auto scan first. You know, you can select it, you can scroll all the way down, but you can pick your vehicle by region. So I'm in an American vehicle, GMC. So I click GMC. But you don't have to really do any of that, because once you get to this screen, you go to diagnose. Once you get to this screen, you don't really have to select anything. Just click the auto VIN button, click auto scan, and it will detect whatever you're sitting in. You don't have to go through these long, drawn-out menus. It'll just detect whatever you're sitting in and pull up the information. Now, you will have to specify a few features within the vehicle that you're in, but it gets you down to this point, which is pretty nice, instead of having to select everything by hand. And, of course, here's where you go for your updates. Down here is the settings. This is settings just for the scanner software. All the different languages, different settings. Settings for your actual tablet, you'd pull down and get your normal settings menu. We already went through special functions. We already looked at those. And report. So this will give you can look at a diagnostic report if you've saved it. This thing is pretty slick. I'm telling you, this thing will do probably 99% of everything you could ever possibly need to do on your vehicle as a DIY. And most shops could probably get by with something like this too. It's very, very capable, very, very powerful. There are a few things that it won't do compared to like a D8 or even a D7. The D7 will program some keys where this one doesn't do keys. There's, like on this particular vehicle, there's the passenger presence system, which is a weight sensor in the passenger seat, and sometimes those need to get reset. This tool won't do that. I did not see an injector balance test on this. There's a few relearn procedures, and there's a few special tests or special features that certain vehicles need that this particular tool won't do. But I would say, like I said, 99% of the things that you run into or that you could ever possibly need, this tool will do it. It's pretty slick, and especially for the money, this is probably the most functionality for the least amount of money on the market. Now, if you want a physical scan tool, the D7 or the D8 is terrific. The D7 would be one slight step up from this, and the D8 would get you pretty much everything. D8 pretty much does everything. Anyway, that's all I've got for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more.